now we can talk about, as you said, the real honor of the evening for you, which was having 5 generations of family and a good number of family and friends, even if we didn't expect turn out to see you. I've counted them all up. Besides you, there were 25 people that came.
Yeah, I thought that was just great that everybody took time, and your sister drove up from Charlottesville, and your sister-in-law drove in from Raleigh, and I was just amazed. My cousins drove up from Tennessee and
Blacksburg,
and Blacksburg. So,
well,
that was very humbling, and the biggest honor of the night for me was the 25 people that were there.
Yeah, not very often. I don't know if ever that we've all come under the same roof like that.
Maybe a first for me.
When I was growing up in my home that I grew up in, it was me and you and Mom and my sister, and we were under the same roof every day for years and years. And then for years and years, we were never under the same roof. And I think this is the first time that we were all four under the same roof with our spouses and with Bella in about 4 years.
Probably so.
I think we came to the beach during COVID, and I think my sister Tara was there, and Lewis, her and Lewis were not even married at that point, and so this would be the first time that we were there with our spouses and with Bella, our daughter. So.
Yeah, you're probably right about that. Yeah.
And 5 generations, boy, that's something that's something that rarely happens ever.
Rarely happens. I was just reading this morning where the family was 6 generations, but the grandmother was well over 100, and
right.
Fortunately, we were all, I won't say fortunately, but we were all young parents at age.
Right. And it was very fortunate that all 4 generations were around 20, 21 years old, because as we were talking about a couple days ago when I was assembling the article about the 5 generations, as hopefully my readers will enjoy. To put in perspective, your great-grandfather was born in 1822, a full 120 years before you were born.
Yeah, so that's my great-great, so that's, like you said, it's a rare occasion.
Yeah, so
there's a lot of distance.
That puts in perspective how rare that is, and special.
Yeah, I only saw 2 of my great-grandparents, so.
Yeah, well, I was lucky enough to have a photograph of 5 generations with my great-grandmother, who is my mother. You took the picture. It's my great-grandmother, my Granny Rose, who her last photograph was with her great-great-granddaughter, who's Bella, and I treasure that to this day.
Absolutely.
And I'll take my part for pulling this one together, because I helped get everybody assembled for
Well, you did it. I mean, I just have to say you did it.
So
my friend said you should be working for some politician, getting all these people together, because you knew how to do it so well.
Well,
you were so good at it.
Well, if somebody offers me the job, we'll see how big the check is and go from there. But Sperlin always said I should run for mayor. Sperlin always said that.
Yeah.
And we should say that Sperlin is John Wayne Sperlin, who is your oldest and lifelong best friend, and he who is not in the best of health. He made the effort to travel up here with your son Travis.
He did. I was amazed. He don't usually get out that much, and I was impressed that he put it together and kind of made the trip.
Well, when Dina Kelly called me, and I have to say I really have to publicly thank Dina and Rosalie Jude and Holly Atkins and all the people who put together. It was a very, very nice ceremony.
Right. They did an amazing job. I was very impressed.
It was a very, very nice, very moving ceremony, and have to really thank them for doing that and finally putting you through. I think it's long overdue, but I'm delighted that it happened when it did, because you probably thought all your efforts had been forgotten about in Wythe County. You've been gone from Wythe County for more than 30 years. So
yeah, I thought probably the only people remember me, but maybe a few criminals that were doing wrong something. But
right,
it certainly was great to.
And when you received the letter, it was a notice from the town of Wytheville, and you thought you must have owed some back taxes or something.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. I said, oh my goodness, got some back taxes or something over there. And I opened the letter, and it was just a great surprise.
But in wrangling together all these people, I wanted Sperlin to be there because he was your lifelong best friend, and he deserved to be there. And of course, your brother Doug, who followed in your footsteps and ended up with a very successful law enforcement career of his own, and he says that you've always been his hero, and he chose that because he saw you come in, and he saw you come in your motorcycle boots and uniform, and he said, that's what I want to do, and that's pretty much what he's done. And he's still
he did a great job on his own. He was an excellent officer, an excellent trainer, as his director of the police academy, and he did a great job on his own.
And he succeeded you as chief deputy when you left in 1994 to be chief in Pulaski. I should mention that.
Yes, he did.
And had nothing to do with nepotism. It had to do with that he was the man for the job. So.
That's correct.
So we're very proud of Doug, and he is still the school resource officer at Spiller, where my daughter Bella has one more year, and they've clicked and had a great relationship ever since Bella was born. He's always been her Uncle Bug, and his grandchildren are now there at Spiller. So that's great that he gets to do that. So I wanted them to be there, but most importantly, I wanted to be sure that we could get this 5-generation thing happening. So I got a hold of Travis, and I got a hold of Josh, and they said, count me in, we'll be there for sure. And then Alex said, I don't know, we're having some issues with our car, but I'm going to do my best to get there and bring the baby. And when I was a little nervous whether it was all going to come out, because it's getting down to the wire, and we still had 2 that was missing. And right at the end, they all came in, and I looked at my mother, and I went, because there they all were.
It was amazing. You did an amazing job. Pulling that all together.
Well, I'm just thrilled that it came off like it did, and it was particularly special seeing you with Emery. I mean, she just reminded me a lot of Bella, just the sweetest, just had the sweetest disposition as a baby.
She really did, didn't she? Yes, she did.
So many people around her that she'd never seen before. And she was just smiling at all of them, but especially when she got to you. She just kept looking at you and grabbed a hold of your finger. And it's a very sweet quote, what Alex said. Alex said, I've been waiting for that picture all my life. I've always thought about how much it meant to me to have my own baby girl, but when Emily locked eyes on her great-grandfather, I could barely hold back my tears, seeing how fast she took to being Papa's little angel. And
she was sweet. Emery was sweet.
Yeah, Emery Gray. And I should mention that Gray is a family name that started with you. Herbert Gray Cooley. It started with you. I have your name. All three of your boys have your name. But it's
I have seven in the group, a niece and grandchildren and children.
Mm-hmm.
Now great grandchildren.
Yep. But all 5 generations from you on down to Emery have the Gray name. It's just Emery spells hers Grey, a little bit more feminine for her. And I think they call her Emmy, don't they?
I think they do, yes.
I think they call her Emmy, yeah. So, but she was just very, very pretty, and it looked like she knew that this is who she's here to see when she looked at you, and she just looked at you like she knew that, you know.
Yeah, she was like she knew me. We'd
known each other always, and it was just precious, And I just thought she was just wonderful. And I had a chance to talk to Alex and his girlfriend Lexi, and they're a very sweet and beautiful family. And he is absolutely devoted to being her dad, and it was very beautiful to see. It reminded me of the days when I became a new dad, which seems like that was yesterday. And I said, just enjoy it and eat her up while you can, because when they're big enough to run from you have to make them hug you. And because I'm at that stage now where Bella, I'm at a hug today. You better come give me one. And but I mean, Bella, from day one, you came to take care of Bella, and she knew your footsteps when you would come into the room. And you and her don't see each other often enough, but you all have a special bond too. And
we sure do.
That's one of the most important things in the world to me, is that even though we don't see each other much, that we have that special bond. Obviously, you have many children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren, but my mother, her grandmommy, only has the one grandchild, so her and grandmommy have a special bond.
They're pretty close, they sure are.
They're a lot alike, I'll tell you that. But I mean, in a way to honor you, I couldn't think of a better. It couldn't have come off. You know, so many plans that you make for yourself. If you plan something and you really want it to go well, so very seldom does it go that well. And it went off better than I anticipated.
It was perfect.
Yeah.
To get to see my great granddaughter for the first time in that setting was great. Just great.
Yeah, and she is very beautiful, and we're all very proud of her and the family that they have. And I want to just share one more quote with you, and it might be over here in this other article, but it was something that your cousin Jane said, who is also a wonderful writer. She is a poet, which I'm not, and was worked in the professional arts building at Virginia Tech for years, put on a free summer festival every year for 40 years at Virginia Tech. She said, Herbie was my hero when I was little until I was older. He is still my hero now that I'm younger, and I'm so proud to be here celebrating his many accomplishments tonight. I found out many things that I did not know, and I am so proud to be here to celebrate him. So that's what Jane had to say.
Jane was sweet. They were, her and her sisters were the closest thing I had to sisters, and it was just great she could be there.
And they all looked up to you. And yeah, and I was going to mention all the people that were there, so that nobody is left out. We had, of course, my mother Rhonda, who in August you and her will celebrate 40 years.
Yes, we will.
My sister and her husband from Charleston, South Carolina. I think they traveled the farthest, and they were here the shortest amount of time. My brother Travis, your best friend John Wayne Sperlin, and then your grandchildren, Josh, his wife Crystal, and their three children, Alex, Aiden, and Olivia. And then you had two other grandchildren, Jacob and Jaden, and Jacob's son Landon, who is your great grandson. And then you had Emery, your great granddaughter, which we all fell in love with. Is that everybody? Did I miss some people? You had some friends that were there, lifelong friends, Debbie and Dixie King and Jamie Jackson. My Aunt Pam, your sister-in-law, and her fiance Ralph, they came from Raleigh.
Yeah, right. You absolutely mentioned that.
That was a surprise too. That was a surprise too. I didn't know if they would make the trip from that far. Jane and Diane. Diane came from Johnson City, Tennessee. Jane came from Blacksburg.
Yes.
But it was one heck of a crew.
It really was.
And I don't think that we would never get all that many people under the same roof as it had been anybody else. So you have to know that you are greatly loved and appreciated.
Well, I appreciate that, and I appreciate the whole group that was there very much.
Well, I'm sure that you felt the love that night. If not at the ceremony, you certainly felt it at Peking, because we had a really nice gathering afterwards.
Yeah, it was really good. And I sure did feel the love.
But anyway, you certainly deserved it. It was a great time. It was a time I did not expect. I didn't know if we would. I didn't know if you'd be returning to Wytheville, honestly, again. But, it's always, I don't get to see you enough myself, because I'm not any more able to get to Merle's Inlet than you are to get to Wytheville. So so anytime that I get to see you in person, I take it as a great blessing. And I remember,
well, it was so nice. I enjoyed hanging out.
Yeah, we had a nice, you got to stay at the historic Bowling Wilson Hotel, where my great-grandparents on my mother's side spent their wedding night, Easter Sunday, 1944. You got to stay there and enjoy that hotel, and Emily and I got to spend some time with you while Bella and Grandmommy went swimming with Aunt Pam, and
that's very nice.
We got to catch up on a lot of things. That's probably the highlight of the entire weekend. But, grateful for all the time we get to spend together, but this past weekend was extra special.
It was great. Thanks mainly to you, Zach.
Well, you are deeply loved and deeply appreciated, and I'm glad that you could know that by all the people that turned out. It was not only a momentous part of your life, it was for me too. Just to be there and be a part of it was something we'll never forget, for sure.
Absolutely.
Well, I love you very much. Thank you for talking with me. And
thank you, Zach. I love you too, buddy.
And hope to have you on again.
All right, then.
Okay.
Here we go. All right.
Love you, Pop.
Love you, buddy. Bye.